Operation Downfall was a two-stage attack. Operation Olympic and Operation Coronet. Olympic is very well documented, while Coronet is not so. The thing is, Coronet was really closer towards the end of the war and closer towards the decision to the atomic bomb, so therefore, by extension, would have been less thought out because there would have been less time to think it out before the war ended. Operation Olympic was to take place on the southernmost mainland island of Japan, Kyushu. Kyushu was going to be the place where the Americans and their allies were going to attack Japan in such a way that the world would never be the same.
Nukes.
While the U.S. and their allies were gathering intelligence for the war, they sort of underestimated the Japanese, such as on Kyushu, where they estimated that only 8 to 10 regiments would be there. That wasn't so. Towards the end of the war, Japan had fortified Kyushu so much that the Americans couldn't help but rethink Operation Downfall. The Japanese, having learned their lesson at Okinawa, would have targeted transport ships instead of these big battleships, causing many, many more deaths and possibly losing the American public's support for the war. Coronet, however, would have been a different story. Coronet was an attack on Tokyo, which, looking back, makes less sense than it originally did. Tokyo is the head of Japan, but Japan knew that. Believe it or not, Japan knew what its own capital was and decided to defend its government, building a secret underground base, much like our own. The issue, Coronet, is that Japan sort of was gone in Tokyo. The U.S. had firebombed the city to a point of devastation where there was nothing left. There was another issue with Operation Downfall.
Nukes.
And that was the atomic threat. The atomic bomb had just been created. This magnificent new weapon that has barely been tested, and not really many people knew about it. Even the vice president of the Truman administration didn't know about the atomic bomb. Surely, General MacArthur and General Marshall had no idea about this superb, beautiful weapon of peace and glory. The atomic bomb, when it was dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, was really just a test. Nobody really knew what it was going to do to these cities. And so, during downfall planning, General MacArthur sort of thought of them as folly. He didn't believe in these magical weapons that would come down and rain death upon people. He's a practical army man. So, MacArthur went around these, and as he saw the devastation of the atomic bomb, he realized that they could be used to soften up the beaches. You see, MacArthur liked to soften up beaches, and he would do so with up to 23 atomic bombs. 23 atomic bombs landing on Japan would be an issue.
Nukes.
2 atomic bombs were an issue.
Nukes.
23, on the other hand.
Nukes.
I think maybe we little bigger of an issue. So, yeah. A lot of dead people. Over here we have the mighty American and Allied invasion force. And now this has suddenly become a Japanese fighter plane. Zero coming down upon the enemy troops. Oh, it's coming down. Pew pew pew. Boom goes the ship. And then crash. And the ship, people on the ship are like, oh no! And the people outside of the ship are like, oh yes! And then they're like, whoa! And that, my friends, is how kamikaze beats ship.